My name is Nicole, and I am a program manager at the nonprofit Solar Oregon. We'll be referencing some helpful resource links throughout the webinar, so I'm going to put those in the chat now, and I'll repost them later in the presentation. At Solar Oregon, we provide webinars like this one and have been providing solar education across the state to home and business owners for years. And we work to provide you with education so you can make good informed decisions about solar. And thank you all for joining us. We're excited to really dig into the topic of community solar. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. We'll be using the chat for resource links and helpful websites that you can access. Those will also be sent out after the webinar with a recording of this presentation. Just make sure to put any questions in the Q&A. We'll have time at the end of the presentation for your questions. And if there's any that don't get answered, you can always email us at info@solaroregon.org, and we're happy to help address questions there as well. We also have other events that you can check out on our website and Eventbrite page. This workshop is supported by Energy Trust of Oregon, which is an independent nonprofit that was established in 2002 to provide customers of the investor-owned utilities with energy efficiency resources and as well help them gain access to renewable energy. And we have a great panel of speakers here today. Very excited to welcome our panelists. So I'll just share their bios here. We have David Saenz here from Community Energy Project. And David is a community solar coordinator who supports low-income households transitioning to solar-powered energy through the community solar program in our state. He works closely with project managers and subscription managers, Energy Trust of Oregon, and other business affiliates to promote and expand renewable energy services to low-income communities. We also have Tatiana Siegenthaler-Rodríguez here from Verde, and Tatiana is a program manager for Verde Builds, where she leads the development and implementation of community-centered clean energy projects. She brings over 11 years of experience in project and program management across clean energy and energy efficiency, as well as nonprofit initiatives, including work with programs funded by the Portland Clean Energy Fund. And our final panelist is Cassandra Martin, who is a project manager at the Bonneville Environmental Foundation. Her work focuses on creating access to solar and renewable energy for low-income communities in the Pacific Northwest, which includes partnering with affordable housing providers, tribes, utilities, businesses, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders. So thank you all for coming here today. We're excited to learn more about community solar and how people in our state can access community solar and get involved. With that, I will go ahead and pass it over to David.
Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you so much for attending this workshop, this event. We can move to the next slide, Nicole. I want to begin by talking about community solar. These are some of the topics that we're going to discuss. I want to give you a little brief overview of who we are, who is CEP, from the panelist, what is community solar, why it matters, how community solar can benefit you, how to save and show up in your bill, and how you can sign up. We obviously going to have your questions towards the end of the presentation, and then we're going to go over like some next steps. Next slide, please. So Community Energy Project, we've been in business in the Portland area for 45 years. So we've been serving the community that amount of time. We have several services that we provide, from education, direct home services, even to advocacy. But our mission is to partner with low-income communities on the front end of climate change and create more resilient, efficient, healthy homes. We do this by weatherizing homes, providing audits, educating the community on how they can keep their home warm, cool during the certain seasons, and we have an advocacy team who helps with the legislative side of all energy efficiency. And the last part that we're here to talk about is the community solar program, and we're going to jump into that next. Before we do, the origin of community solar came from this bill. So back in 2016, SB 1547 was passed, and the bill was set to erase or remove 50%, make 50% of electricity renewable by 2040, and we need to be off of coal by 2030. And that is where the community solar was born. Next slide. The goal is to expand the energy, right? We want to make more clean energy. We want to make it accessible to customers, not just people who own traditional homes, but we want to make it accessible to every home, renters, people who own mobile homes. So as long as you have a PG, Pacific Power, you're part of your utility, you will be able to access community solar and build the infrastructure for more renewable energy. Next slide, please. It's a good idea to understand where our energy is coming from, right? The majority of our energy is coming from hydro, right? From all the dams that we have here. And so we also have coal and natural gas are another high producers. And then you can see in the very bottom there that solar is one of the lower energy resources or energy sources. So we are building the infrastructure, right? We want renewable energy, including with wind, to be as big or as much utilized as natural gas and other harmful ways that energy is produced here in Oregon. Next slide. So what is community solar? So it looks like the solar projects that Cass, Cassandra, and Tatiana are going to speak about. We have a couple of projects that we want to talk about specifically, but the projects looks like this. These are solar projects that are all throughout Oregon. They take out a bit of a land. The energy is collected in these solar panels, then transferred to a utility provider, and the utility provider shares the energy with the participants, with the clients. Anybody who has signed up to a project will get discounts on their electric bill. So in a sense, you can look at it as, like, for example, a Jackson family, it needs a certain amount of energy, less than Martinez family, for example, so they allocate a certain amount of energy for them, and that power that would usually come from coal or gas is generated from these solar panels. This is again just another way to show how the projects is working, is connected to the utility provider. So as a subscriber, you would sign up to a local project. Again, we're going to speak about that soon. And then that power that is collected or produced is sent to a utility provider. It's all interconnected. And then the utility provider, again, shares or distributes that power to the clients. Just by being, again, signed up to the program, you will receive solar credits. There is a subscription fee, which we'll talk about in a second, but there's no cost for low-income participants that they will need to pay. So if you qualify through low income, which we'll get in that in a second, you don't have to pay for any cost. Any subscription fee that you see in the bill is actually covered by the solar credits, and then any remaining will be added to your bill as savings. It sounds a little complicated, but I assure you it's not that complicated. We'll show you an example here in a second. Next slide. So the individuals who created this program, they wanted to make sure that low-income participants, people who fall under low income, they also get access to these projects. So 10% of all the projects must be available to low-income participants. And the cool thing, as long as you live in Oregon, you have Pacific Power, PGE, or even Idaho Power, you can get into a solar program, and a solar project. Again, you don't need to own your own home. You can be a renter. You don't have to have a rooftop, in this sense, because nothing gets installed in the home. And the cool thing is that if you end up moving to a different home, you can take your subscription with you, and there's no cost, of course. Next slide. So some benefits. It's great for the planet. You know, the more and more that we are reliant on fossil fuels and the ways that we currently are producing power, the more we're going to harm the planet and the people that live, you know, our neighbors. So we're trying to shift that, right? We want to live in a cleaner environment. The cool thing as well is that it saves you money. So as an added incentive, it's all local. It's all here in Oregon. We actually have 2 projects that are pretty local to, I think one is, if I'm not mistaken, here in the Portland metro area, and another one is in Central Oregon or Southern Oregon. Next slide. The main thing is there's no cost to you, right? So there's no sign-up fees, no cancellation fees. There is a service agreement, which I believe will be touched on a little bit. That is it has a bunch of protections for the participant, for the subscriber. So there is no cost to you, no cancellation fees, and then guaranteed savings. So as long as there isn't anything in this program that would harm you negatively. When we're talking about the credits, again, the credits are always going to be higher than subscription fee on the bill. So even though you see a subscription fee on the bill, it's always being paid off by the credits first. Next slide. It's very easy to qualify, and this is specifically for low-income participants. There is a general market, which I believe Cassandra and Tatiana might speak to. But if you qualify through the low-income portion, you will, as long as your household, for example, is 3 people, the household needs to make under 82,000 or 6,800 in order to qualify. And this is all self-attestation, meaning that you can, we don't ask for any proof of income. We believe what you're saying. If you need a service, then we will oblige, and we'll, as long as you complete the intake and say that what you make, then we believe you, and we will sign you up to a project. Next slide, please. This is one of the I guess one of the biggest hurdles, I guess, in a sense. The projects usually take 1 or 2 months. So after it takes 3 to 6 months for the project to become operational, they're building the project, they're connecting it to the utility provider. There is a little bit of a wait time, but once the project becomes operational, within 1 or 2 bill cycles, you'll see the credits start applying to your bill. And once it starts, you don't have to renew, right? It would just be done. You just need to complete it one time or sign up once. And for the next 10 or 15 years, or however long the project is operational, you will maintain that credit, and you don't have to worry about re-signing up. The only thing is if you move to a different location or a different utility provider, then just let us know so we can update that information for you to see if you can keep your subscription. Okay, moving on. Again, this is just an example to show you that the subscription fee is always less than the bill credit. The savings do vary depending on the season. So during the summer and spring, you'll see the majority of your savings. During winter, you see less savings, but you still see some savings, right? So you always will have some savings on your bill. So it's always good to remember that when we say 10 or 15% of savings, it's throughout the whole year, not just every single month. So it's a good thing to keep in your mind. Next slide. And this is how a subscription fee is calculated. It's always going to be 20% less than your bill credit rate, so that that's basically stating that you're always going to have your bill credit be higher than your subscription fee. And it's always just comes down to how much energy your home uses, and it's calculated through this formula here. And in the next slide, we'll see where the subscription fee is going. So the subscription fee that is being that comes out is being paid helps us maintain this program from the project managers, subscription managers like Cassandra and Tatiana, as well as the admin team, right? So there is nothing. So we support from everything from this workshops to providing information about this program, to making sure that the participant goes through the whole process, and there's, if there's any issues, and then we keep maintenance on the solar projects, etc. So that's where your subscription fee is going, if you were wondering. Next slide. And this is where you can find the information. So, for example, for this month, right, the subscription fee was $106. This must have been a winter time. And then the total credits was 111. So for this one, again, it was a smaller amount, but you save about $6-7 on this month. If you're currently on any kind of bill assistance programs, like I believe Pacific Power has not only equal pay, but also income qualified bill discount, that's not going to be affected. You can have multiple discounts at once. And if you currently are getting assistance outside of this program or another program or within Pacific Power, again, that doesn't affect it. So it's just another discount that you can add on top. And then we always love to, if once we do an intake, we like to do an audit and make sure that you're getting your discounts. So if you don't know if you have your discounts for Pacific Power, Northrop Natural, or even PG, if that applies to you, please take a picture, and we can also send this information later on. But just make sure you have your discounts because these are available to you now. And these will start within the next bill cycle. Next, please. So the key takeaways, save 10-15% annually. There's no cost to you. No solar panels outside your home. So everything is not only, it's not invasive to the home. Credits are always higher than subscription fees. In the contract, there's no risk to the participant. And you can cancel and remove yourself from the program anytime. And then lastly, you help Oregon create more infrastructure for more renewable energy. So this would be the process. Once we're done with this, we'll send some more information of how to apply. You will also get a service agreement or a contract that you would need to sign, and the team here would also help you go through the contract if you have any questions. Once you're enrolled, that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else until the project is operational, and then you can go ahead and start receiving your bill credits within 2 bill cycles once it's operational.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for your time, yeah.
And just a reminder for folks, please keep putting those questions in the Q&A box, as we'll have time to answer those at the end of the presentations. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass the presentation over to Tatiana.
Hi, everyone. I am really excited to share this project with you today. Not just because of what we built, but because of what it represents. This is a story about community vision, persistence, and what it looks like when we center equity in clean energy. Today, I'm going to walk you through the Goodlink Community Solar Project based here in the city of Portland. And this came together with a lot of partnerships behind it. And most importantly, is having an impact on people's lives. And to start, I want to ground everyone on who we are. Verde is a community-based organization rooted in the Cali neighborhood here in Portland. Our work is focused on climate justice, but for us, this is not just a concept. It means making sure that the communities most impacted by climate change and high energy costs are actually benefiting from the solutions. Next slide, please. We are working to reduce energy burden. We want to create pathways to living wage jobs and support solutions that are designed with the community, not for the community. Next slide, please. How we approach our work from multiple angles. We're doing direct clean energy projects. We coordinate the installation of heat pumps, solar projects, weatherization, but we also are working on the fields of environmental education and advocacy. Next slide. And our advocacy work is fundamental. This advocacy work is fundamental for our success because installing projects is important, but shaping the systems that determine who gets access to those projects is what creates long-term change. And that's exactly how something like the Goodling Community Solar Project becomes possible. Next slide. So the starting point. This project started with the Cully Energy Plan. This was a community-led process where residents identified the challenges they were facing. And one of the biggest challenges was energy burden. Next slide, please. We are talking about families, hardworking, low-income families paying between $300 to $400 a month in electricity bills just to keep their homes warm and comfortable. And this leads to real trade-off because people are being put in a position of having to choose between paying a utility bill or covering other essential needs. And energy insecurity is not abstract. It's something that the families in our community are navigating every day. Next slide, please. So, the question became, what does a real solution to this problem look like? And community solar came up as a powerful response because it expands access. It allows people who may not own their homes, so renters or people who cannot afford to install a solar system in their home, they can have access and they can benefit from clean energy. And the most important part is that reduces the cost burden. Next slide, please. So how this came all together. So this project took shape through a series of very intentional steps. The community identified the need and the solution. We secure funding through PCEF, the Portland Clean Energy Fund, and through the Federal Department of Energy, also known as DOE. And we partnered with the Port of Portland to lease the site. But what really made this work successful was bringing together the right mix of partners, technical experts, community organizations, and implementation teams. Next slide, please. So, Verde, our role was to hold all of that together. So we were leading the project management, ensuring compliance, making sure that we were meeting the funding requirements from PCEF and the Department of Energy, coordinating the contractors, managing the budget, and just keeping the project going, and making sure that they were aligned with what the community asked for. It was not only about getting the project just built, it was about building this project the right way. Next slide, please. And we have, as I mentioned in the previous slide, we have to find the right partners. And Bonneville Environmental Foundation was a true partner to us. They brought deep expertise on solar development, something that Verde is still in the process of learning, but they help us navigate land use, interconnection, working with the utility companies, and the system design. Next slide, please. Community Energy Project, they were the ones who helped us, and I'm just going to touch very briefly because David already covered all this, but they were the ones that were checking that the residents could actually access the benefits. They were supporting the enrollment, verification. They were doing all the education component of this project. Next slide, please. And then this is where the tangible work happened, like the real work happened. And we work with Imagine Energy. They were our solar contractors who were actually building the solar site. Next, please. But what really make this meaningful is the workforce component. We had the opportunity to partner with organizations like Leaders Become Legends and also work with minority-owned business, women-owned businesses that, across multiple scopes, like the fencing, the lights, the landscaping, the engineering. And sometimes in these big projects, these small businesses, they don't have the space, but we were able to provide that space for them. Because for us, it wasn't only about building infrastructure, it was about building opportunity for BIPOC and women-owned businesses. Next slide. There is also a layer of work with the utilities, regulatory coordination. So that also it was really important to make the project successful. Next slide, please. And then there was another component. It was the ecological design, because this project is very unique. It goes beyond energy. We're thinking about how the land is used, how it supports biodiversity, and how it connects with community. So you can see there on the slide, we have sheep grazing. So we had the opportunity to experiment with that. It's a project that is in progress and is going really well. So the sheep grazing, now we're in the process of pollinator-friendly plants, planting pollinator-friendly plants, native landscaping. And this is a site that is designed to be functional and also regenerative. As I say, it's not a solar project only, it's a project that gives back in multiple ways. Next slide. So what did all of this lead to? A 1.25 megawatt community solar system. Community members are fully subscribed. We're serving around 156 households. And what this means is real impact. Families seeing their electrical bills going down, not having to make those hard choices. And that's immediate relief. People call us and they tell us how grateful they are because they have more money available each month. And it's not only about going month to month, but it provides them with long-term, it provides the families, the households with long-term stability. So this project shows what is possible. It's community-driven, technically successful, and is replicable. And this isn't just one project. It's a model on how we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. And with that, I'll pass it to our last panelist, Cassandra.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cassandra. I'm a project manager at Bonneville Environmental Foundation, and I manage our Oregon Community Solar projects, as well as our subscriber engagement process. I'll be sharing today about our role as BEF as a project manager and developer, and also share some of the projects that we're currently working on. Next slide. So BEF, we are a 501c nonprofit based in Oregon, but we do work across the country. The Renewable Sunward Program is a program that is dedicated to providing economic and environmental benefits of solar and renewable energy to specifically low-income communities, tribal communities, and communities of color. A lot of our work is built on partnerships that develop renewable energy projects and deliver wealth building and cost savings to communities. As Tatiana said, we have worked very closely with Verde in the past and other CBOs in Portland and across Oregon to develop these projects. Goodling was our first one that you just heard a lot about, and that one's currently benefiting 150 subscribers in Portland. Next slide. So our Sunward program we work with tribes, affordable housing providers, community groups, nonprofits, as well as school districts and businesses. You can see on the map the 40 projects that we have completed so far. This is over 18,000 kW of solar for low-income and tribal communities that over the course of that 20-year period will be generating 22 million in lifetime savings for 4,000 low-income households. And these projects are primarily grant funded, and we've secured 200 million in funding for these projects as well. With solar being historically benefiting only higher income individuals and households, a lot of times the upfront payment to install a system can be cost prohibitive for many. So the barriers of not being a homeowner, not having a roof, or that can support a solar system, or having too much shade, community solar can help solve that problem. We focus on projects that create renewable energy and deliver meaningful economic savings for specifically low-income communities. As you heard in the beginning panels, the projects are developed to distribute benefits to multiple different customers that can create access to homes that don't have access to this, who face barriers of putting it on their home. Our projects are sited on like open fields with our site hosts. We've done some roof-mounted systems as well. And then subscribers can buy a share of that solar system and receive electric bill credits from the electricity that's generated from that system. We also do work with tribes as well. And a lot of our projects include some form of like climate resilience efforts, reducing energy costs for the site hosts or the businesses, and then also workforce development and energy education. Next slide. So some of the services that BEF offers, we primarily partner for our community benefit impact. All of our projects have a wide array of partners on them. Within that, BEF will provide pre-development support, so doing the feasibility studies, site analysis, financial modeling. We'll also support the project funding with grant writing and grant management. Project development, so the RFP development and contractor selection, being an owner's rep for our partners. And capacity building as well, so workforce development, facilitation, and energy education, so that we can encourage other people to feel confident in being able to develop their own community solar projects in the long run. Next slide. Oh, you can cycle through a couple of these to populate the slide. Yes. Thank you. So we consider this like building a bridge with our partnerships. So to deliver these low-income household benefits, we try to hold center as a convener and facilitator for this partnership model. We provide our mission, expertise, and capacity for this type of collaboration to bring solar resources to the disadvantaged communities. Down below shows like a subset of the type of partners that we'll work with in order to develop these. So that includes developers, owners, portfolio aggregators, as well as our trusted community organizations, and our funding partners that enhance the low-income benefits that we're able to provide, as well as our public and private site hosts, and of course the utilities who facilitate the bill credits. Next slide. So BEF within the Oregon Community Solar Program, we are the project manager in the program as well as the subscription manager, which means that as the project is developed, we conduct the subscriber engagement with our partners. And then after the project is completed, we'll be doing the 20-year overseeing all of the subscriber acquisition and management for that 20-year period. We're the developer and technical assistance provider. And then Verde is a great example, is one of our partners who conducted the community outreach. Next slide. So I'll go into some of the projects that we're currently developing right now that we're really excited about. So this one is the Rebuilding Center Community Solar Project. The Rebuilding Center is the Rebuilding Center's mission is to build community resilience and empower like DIY work by ensuring affordable building materials and repair skills to reduce waste. They are a Portland-based nonprofit and they have a retail storefront. So this is a 300 kW system that is going on top of their roof. And subscriber outreach will be targeted to like people who attend their workshops and who are doing, their own building renovations. And then just neighbors in the North Portland area. 20% of the project will be going to the Rebuilding Center to offset some of their electrical costs. And then the remaining will go to about 50 low-income households for their reduced bill credits. And then as part of this project as well, their contractor has provided solar education opportunities and classes offered at RBC. So whether that was like workforce training about like how to get into solar or like what is solar in general, how to install it, they've provided a number of classes on those recently. Next slide. This one is the 82nd Avenue Community Solar Project. This project is led by a large coalition of partners. Apano, a local Portland nonprofit, is the grant manager for this and the leader of the initiatives along 82nd Avenue, which is in Northeast Portland. We are partnered with the Bird Alliance of Oregon, who purchased a landfill last year in 2025. Here, they're going to be installing a nature habitat and education center. And on the south side, in that orange area, there will be a solar installation, about 700 kW, that will be benefiting people in what's referred to as like the Jade District or like 82nd Avenue region. That is partnered with or that are part of the Apano's community base. We're also partnered with SUMA, who is an alternative benefits provider. And so the goal is to have revenue from the project to be able to subsidize different climate initiatives, such as transportation wallets for e-bikes, for example, and also farmers market credits for low-income individuals as well. This project is going to benefit 138 low-income households with a large subscription discount. The Apano is also doing residential solar installations for priority community members and will be installing electric vehicle charging stations in 82nd as well. Next slide. So this is our empowering portfolio. So this is multiple projects within one funding project through the Portland Clean Energy Fund. This has a large coalition of community-based organization partners, such as ICO, Unite Oregon, Verde, Central City Concern, Apano, and Leaders Become Legends. Some of our site host is the Port of Portland. We're going to be installing 3 different community solar projects across Portland with 7 megawatts of capacity. These 3 projects will be coming online in 2027 is our estimate right now. And we'll be serving about 1,500 BIPOC and low-income households as well, and being able to provide really deep energy discounts or utility bill discounts for these projects. Next slide. This is our Morningstar Community Resilience Hub project. This project is one that we've been working on for a while. It's going to be led by the Morningstar Baptist Church and hosted at their site. Their goal is to have a resilience hub to be able to host their neighborhood congregation members during inclement weather situations and emergencies. So with that, there's multiple initiatives that are going into this. We have a community solar installation that will have 150 kW of capacity. There's also going to be solar and battery storage as well in order to keep refrigerators running and keep their HVAC system during these weather events. They will also be, or they have now, an EV van to be able to transport people for disability access, and also an EV charging station at their location, which there historically have not been a lot of EV charging in that area. There's also going to be HVAC system upgrades, lighting, as well as critical repairs in order to make these improvements at their site. This project was funded by the Portland Clean Energy Fund, and the subscriptions will be primarily offered to their congregation members, which will have about like 30 subscribers for this project, as well as utility bill reductions for the church itself. Next slide. And so this is our most recent upcoming project that we have, the Medford Irrigation District. So the Medford Irrigation District is in Southern Oregon. They were formed in 1917 with the objective of developing new sources of water to provide a supply to lands that were not previously irrigated. This project is going to be one of the first floating solar project installations in Oregon. It will be covering the reservoir as part of this irrigation district. And so the project, outside of just the community solar benefits, will also have benefits for the irrigation district and members of that who are supplied water from that reservoir. So being able to cover it will improve the water quality by shading the reservoir and reducing the algae growth, as well as reducing the water loss from evaporation. So we're really excited for this project being the first of its kind. This project was funded by congressionally directed spending appropriations, as well as the State of Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. And this project will have about 80 residential subscriptions, with about 20% of the power going to the irrigation district itself, and then 20 low-income subscriptions available as well. Next slide. And so that Medford project is currently accepting residential and low-income participants. Here is an example of some of the savings that you'd receive if you were qualifying as just residential in the Pacific Power utility bill territory versus a low-income subscription, which has a much deeper discount. So with a residential subscription, we estimate a household subscription size of about 5 kW, which is about the average for Oregon. And if you were to subscribe to this, as a subscriber to this project would receive about $75 yearly as a utility bill credit. The low-income savings for this project with a 5 kW estimate has a much deeper savings, and the expected first-year savings would be about $437. And that's spread across each month of your bill, ranging a bit higher in summer months during summer production and lower in winter months. Next slide. So if you find yourself interested in either enrolling or know someone who would be interested in signing up for community solar, you've heard a lot from David and Tatiana about how these projects deliver benefits. You can follow the either link or QR code to our intake form. And the process for us for filling out an intake form is we verify your household annual consumption, and we size your size your subscription to 80% of that annual consumption. CEP will perform the low income verification if you attest that you qualify for those low income markers. Then it's signing a contract and having those utility bill credits show up after that, about 2 months after that project comes online. In this project, Medford Irrigation District is supposed to come online in July. So we're very, very much looking forward to that. You can also contact us if you have any questions about developing community solar or about the current projects that we have in our experience. We'd be really happy to answer them. We have our phone and email there. But yeah, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Cassandra. So that'll move us right into the Q&A session. So we'll kind of start going through those now. One question came up while you were speaking about the different programs, and someone's wondering, you know, if they don't qualify for low income, how do they get involved in community solar? Is it using that same link to connect with you all?
Yeah, so we, through those projects, we have both like residential subscriptions and low income subscriptions available. If you do not qualify for a low income subscription and we're not able to match you with a residential subscription, you can also go to the Oregon Community Solar Program page, and there's a project finder section that will give you information about like all the projects that are currently enrolling in Oregon and how to connect with the subscription provider for it. So as much as like we have projects that are available, there's also a lot of other projects out there that you can find on the program page as well.
Thanks, Cassandra. And I did go ahead and put those resource links in the chat again. And one of those is a link to the Oregon Community Solar page where you can connect with different projects. I think this is another question for you, Cassandra, as a developer. So the question is, why not have solar developers build and then sell the electricity to PGE directly, so that you wouldn't get two bills? Their understanding is that for like a standard subscriber for residential, they'll get one bill from PGE that's reduced and another bill from the community solar developer. So yes, could you explain if they'll get two bills if they're a residential standard community solar participator, and then also, yeah, do developers sell electricity directly to PGE?
Yeah, I think so. If I'm understanding that question correctly, to clarify the project, the beauty of the Oregon Community Solar Program is that it is a mechanism to provide that electricity generated on one utility bill. So there's not two separate bills that you're receiving. When the solar is developed and put online, that energy is being given to the utility directly, and it is the utility that is calculating that subscription versus the discount that you're receiving based upon your subscription. I think David showed a really great example, perhaps of like maybe how that shows up on your utility bill, but it is your regular utility bill where you'll see a new line item that just says Oregon Community Solar Subscription and Oregon Community Solar Credits. There are other developers who potentially do it as a two-bill system, but the most common way to do it is just through the utility bill and selling to the utility directly.
Thank you, Cassandra. David, can you share how long on average it takes for a subscriber to start seeing discounts on their bill?
Yes, it takes about 3 to 6 months on average for a participant to start seeing the credits on the bill. Sometimes it's a lot faster. It's just depending how long the project will take to become operational. Usually when a project has become operational, and you can see it on the project finder as well, that Cassandra was talking about, usually within a bill cycle or two after it's operational, you will start seeing the credit. But in general or in total, it's about 3 to 6 months.
Thank you, David. We also had a question about accommodating low-income households and if PGE simply just could provide a lower tiered billing system. And I think, David, you shared that there are some billing discount programs. Could you share a little bit more on those?
Yes, there are multiple bill discount programs, PG or Pacific Power. If you guys would like, anyone that is interested, I'm happy to call them with you. So we all have our information. Feel free to send me an email, a call, or text, and then we can call together to make sure that you're getting all the discounts available. And then if you qualify for the low income portion, we'll be happy to complete the intake with you. But yeah, anyone who usually qualifies for the low income portion will call low income portion for community solar will qualify for that program as well for the IQDB, the income qualified bill discount with your utility provider.
Thank you, David. Tatiana, can you share how outreach is done to connect community members to community solar?
Sure. So outreach happens in different approaches. So Verde has a lot of presence within the community. So we attend community events here in Cali. We also have a program where we coordinate the installation of heat pumps. So through that program, we also do outreach. We also have an environmental leadership institute where the leaders of that institute help us promote the solar programs. And we do also attend outreach events. Like I think one of my favorites is Electrify PDX. They do such an amazing job, and it's always a good place for everyone who wants to learn about resources on clean energy and programs that are available. Yeah, I will say that's our main channels to do outreach. The most successful is word of mouth. Once people are in the program and they see actually getting credits on their electrical bill, like they spread that with family and friends. Yeah.
Thank you, Tatiana. And I think this next question is for you also. So the question is, do any of your programs have an aspect where the people involved eventually can become subscribers of the solar system? So people involved, they're referring to like either workforce development or individuals who help build the solar. Can they eventually become subscribers?
Yeah, I mean, if they meet the requirements that David lay out, yeah, they were more than happy to sign up for the program. Yeah.
Perfect. And how do people like workforce development organizations connect with you to help on projects?
That's a great question. I think they reach out to us. That's basically what happens. We
Sure.
always have a large pool of organizations looking for opportunities, so they can always email Verde or also Bonneville Environmental Foundation as a developer knows them very well. Yeah.
Thank you, Tatiana. And then let me just check. I feel like there's a few more questions. We have someone who is trying to get community solar for a Habitat for Humanity project in Lake Oswego. Cass, would this go to you as a developer?
Yeah, I think I can answer that. So the different subscription types kind of depend on the utility bill structure of that building. So if individuals within that like Lake Oswego area are paying their own utility bills and qualify for the project, they can sign up on their own and receive those benefits and opt into it. If it is a master metered building, that's something that we do offer like master meter subscriptions for, and there are mechanisms to be able to provide that. There's some additional reporting that comes along with it to show that you are delivering the low income benefits to those households individually and not just the like building as a whole. So you can reach out to us, I think would be a good way. And then you can also look on the program page as well, to see which projects are currently offering subscriptions of that type.
Thank you, Cassandra. And then this is being recorded just as a reminder to everyone. And we'll also be including the helpful resource links when we email out the recording to everyone. So if there's a question that did not get answered in this, feel free to reach out to us. I'll go ahead. You can see the links in the chat. You can reach out to us at info@, and we're happy to connect you with any of our panelists here today. So thank you for joining us and for your very insightful questions. And to see more webinars like this, you can engage with us at Solar Oregon, or connect with our great panelists here. CEP has some excellent webinars and events as well, so that link was also shared in the chat. And we hope to see you at a future event. Thank you to all of our panelists and for sharing all the information about community solar and how we can connect with that. And we'll be sharing those links with everyone who registered today. Thank you, everyone.